Hey, what's going on, guys? Justin Mitchell here with End Time Watchman. In this video, I'm going to be going through a presentation about the taunt song or the taunt songs that we find in the Bible that help us understand a little bit about why they exist, the importance of seeing and hearing them, and what they serve as far as for believers to understand God's message a little bit better about what's coming on the world. So, with all that said, I'm going to share my screen here and get to the taunt song here. Hopefully, you guys can see this here. So, in this video, we're going to be talking about the taunt song. This is found, one of the main places that is found is in Habakkuk chapter 2. The Bible says, "Will not all of them taunt him with ridicule and scorn?" Some of the translations say will take up a taunt song or a riddle or something like that, and taunt him with ridicule and scorn. Now, the question we have to ask is, who is this talking about? And um, why is this happening? And we're going to understand a little bit more through this presentation. But the verse that comes to my mind is Habakkuk 2, 2 through 7. The revelation awaits the time of the end. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and not delay. See, he is puffed up. His desires are not upright. He is arrogant and greedy. U.S. creditors will wake up and make the U.S. tremble. All the people and all the nations will taunt him with ridicule and scorn. And it looks to be right now when I'm doing this video, a lot of, we may even show you guys one of the taunt songs that are coming out from Iran and other places about President Trump. So this is a very specific prophecy that we're supposed to see. And let's take a look at the next slide here to see what is a taunt song. So a taunt song in the biblical context is a poetic form of derision or mockery directed towards individuals, nations, or entities that have acted in opposition to God's will or have oppressed his people. And so these songs are often prophetic in nature, serving as both a declaration of judgment and a means of expressing the eventual triumph of righteousness over wickedness. Taunt songs are found in various books of the Bible and are used to convey God's sovereignty and justice. Biblical taunt song celebrates the downfall of a tyrant and the resulting peace and relief experienced by the nations. We're going to see that literally in scriptures, how it's presented. And I think this is just really interesting, all this stuff about the taunt song, because it's happening right now as I do this video. This is happening, and it's only going to get worse for the president. Examples of taunt songs. Okay, so we've got this right here. Isaiah 3, like I said before, actually 3 through 8. But on that day, on the day the Lord gives you relief from your suffering and turmoil and from the harsh labor forced on you, you will take up this taunt song or this taunt against the king of Babylon. So the king of Babylon is who this is against. This is not talking about the Antichrist, it's talking about the king of Babylon. How the oppressor, like we talked about oppressing people, has come to an end, how his fury has ended. And you go continue on with those verses, and it explains a little bit more in detail about that. And Habakkuk 2, 6 through 8, will not all of them taunt him with ridicule and scorn, saying, "Woe to him who piles up stolen goods and makes himself wealthy by extortion." Who's this talking about? Very clear what's happening right now in the world. How long must this go on? Will not your creditors suddenly rise? Will not they wake up and make you tremble? Then you'll become their prey, because you've plundered many nations. The peoples who are left will plunder you. If you have shed human's blood, you've destroyed lands and cities and everyone in them. The other verse that comes to my mind is Jeremiah 30, 50, 32. The arrogant one will stumble and fall, and no one to pick him up. And I will kindle a fire in his cities to consume all who are around him. The purpose and function of the taunt songs. Another very important thing that we get here. Taunt songs serve several purposes within the biblical narrative. They are a means of expressing the certainty of God's judgment against the wicked and the assurance of his deliverance for the righteous. It'll be interesting how more of these songs come out, exactly what they're kind of saying. I think right now we're seeing the tip of the iceberg. These songs often highlight the futility of human pride and the ultimate downfall of those who oppose God's purposes by using vivid imagery and poetic language. Okay. Taunt songs capture the emotional and spiritual realities of divine justice. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how these continue to play out, especially after this Iran war and what happens to the U.S. economy and how we respond to all this. Furthermore, taunt songs function as a form of communal expression, allowing the people of God to vocalize their hope and trust in His promises. They serve as reminders of God's past faithfulness and as anticipations of His future interventions on behalf of His people. So just really interesting that we see this because God says to see or behold. The Hebrew word there means to see what's about ready to happen. There's a meaning behind this. So this is really deep meaning about what you're seeing. That's why Christ told you to pay attention so I can speak to you through my spirit, my word, the way it connects. Definitely vital piece right here. The theological significance. From a theological perspective, taunt songs underscore the themes of divine justice, sovereignty, and the moral order of the universe. They affirm that God is not indifferent to the plight of the oppressed and that He will act decisively to vindicate His name and His people. So, again, you see this, and God's like, hey, this is my way of telling you I'm going to act to help those who are oppressed. The use of taunt songs in scripture reflects a biblical worldview that history is under God's control and that He will ultimately bring about the triumph of good over evil. So the other thing too is like, even though it may look like the oppressor is going to win or like this is going to be played out, God has another agenda. He's got another plan for His people. And I think this is very important that we participate and see some of these things so that we can help other people and point them back to scriptures as well. I bet this is very key. In summary, taunt songs are a powerful literary and theological device within the Bible, serving to communicate God's judgment and the hope of redemption. They remind believers of the certainty of God's promises and the assurance of His ultimate victory over all forms of evil and oppression. The conclusion, the taunt song points out that the U.S. and its leader before the final destruction. So what will the taunt song be or look like? Okay. Shall not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting riddle against him and say, woe to him that increases, which is not his? How long? And that ladeth himself with many pledges. And so here we have the prophecy that will speak, Habakkuk's vision, which will result in an economic collapse following this World War or Iran war that we're starting to see right now. And as I speak, there are 3 aircraft strike groups in the Persian Gulf as the blockades are going on, and we expect a potential ambush that would start or kind of escalate this war into something even bigger and cause major destruction and then economic collapse and distress within the world. And so one last thing before I jump off here and we conclude everything, I want to show you, let's see here, we can share another another taunt song here. You just got to get out of here and go to my Facebook. I saved it under my messages. I just sent it over here. At least give you guys a chance to take a look at some of these things. Hopefully we can blow it up a little bit here. And let's see here. Let's do this one right here once it gets loaded. Let's see here. Hopefully you can hear it.
Yeah. You crossed the ocean just to find your grave. Sacrificed your own boys for a lie. Listen. Yeah. Yeah. Make America great again. Yo, Tails, did you crazy? Yeah. Make America it great again now. Nigga, we would treat, we'll see what happens, yeah. Watch this. Sacred defense, we protecting the soil. Why you sacrifice soldiers to pay for your spoil? You thought you ran the globe, sitting on your throne. Now we turning every base into a bed of stone. This is slaughterhouse, a trap you couldn't see. Welcome to the graveyard of your vanity. The secrets are leaking, the pressure is rising. We locked on the target, and now you are hiding. LOSC, yo, we spelling out your name. Send them to the slaughter, you the only one to blame. Bleeding for a puppet while you shaking in your sweet. LOSC, taste the ash of defeat. LOSC, yeah, we spelling out your name. Send them to the slaughter, you the only one to blame. Bleeding for a puppet while you shaking in your sweet. LOSC, taste the ash of defeat. Swagger's fighting in your suit, hiding Epstein's ghost. You sent your boys to die on the bloody coast. Not a revenge for the leader's blood is purely mine. Every drop of his blood is a missile on the line. You thought you took him out, thought the fire was dead, but another commonary is standing ahead. Yeah, you strike one down, we just shatter your brain. We put another in the leg, commonary again. The secrets are leaking, the pressure is rising. We locked on the target, and now you are hiding. Yeah, we spelling out your name. Send them to the slaughter, you the only one to blame. Bleeding for a puppet while you shaking in your sweet. LOSC, taste the ash. LOSC, yeah, we spelling out your name. Send them to the slaughter, you the only one to blame. Bleeding for a puppet while you shaking in your sweet. LOSC, taste the ash of defeat. Sacred defense of the homeland. Sacred defense of the homeland. Sacred defense of the homeland. The slaughterhouse is open. Come and lay cash. LOSC.
Right. So we're done with that. And let's come back here. So I just thought I'd share that with you. That just kind of came out, and there's been a lot of description with psychologists talking about Trump that's matching exactly what God's put out. It's very, very clear if people be actually watching, paying attention, and wanting to learn and know what's happening. But again, I hope that helps you guys see the importance of the taunt songs. And like I said, we've got more courses and digital downloads and different things you guys can learn in the school. But hopefully, this is a gold nugget. And also, you'll see how this is talking about the king of Babylon, not the Antichrist. So, like, this all has to happen before the Antichrist comes on the scene and takes out. Basically, is going to be a key player in taking out the United States. But we go into that, and it's very important that you guys try to invest some time and energy into some of these courses or presentations or something to get the bigger picture. So with that, I will see you guys on the next video, and I hope you guys continue to listen and learn.